لحافظين كراما كاتبين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned angels to everyone. Every person has angels. Allah described them as they are honorable and they are recording. يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. They know what you do. So there's nothing they will miss. We cannot deceive them. We cannot cheat. We cannot avoid them. They will know everything. And in another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. That nothing that you utter, but there is a controller, a recorder. The angels are watching and recording whatever we say. In there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they know what you do. So not only what we say, but also what we do. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in here turning our attention that no matter what changes will take place in the communications industry or in the communications world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching and you are still the same responsible. We have the same responsibility. We are liable for everything. Before, it was quite simple. People talk, people meet, people send messages, send letters, and so on. Nowadays, things are slightly easier, much easier than before, which is another responsibility we have. Allah has blessed us with these advancements in phones, in social media, in means of communication. And communication is the focus, is the focal point of our human relations. So nowadays it's much easier to communicate. So we have new ways of gaining pleasure of Allah and getting things fixed amongst ourselves. We can do things in a better, much more convenient and faster ways. Because we have now phones with everybody's pocket almost, have a phone. So you can reach your relatives, your friends, your colleagues. So there is no really excuse for people not to communicate, not to reach out to their parents, to their relatives, to their friends, to their neighbors, and to even to innovate, to find better ways to build bridges. Unfortunately, nowadays we find people are not utilizing these means to build bridges. They are too busy with the phones than communication. Now, the phone is there, we can use it. It's two ways. Either we waste our time or we utilize our time in a better way. So the mobile phones and the social media is a quite serious means Allah has blessed us with. So those who think this is a curse, they're really mistaken. And those who think this is purely good and you can take it all the way, they need to reconsider and to think of how to use it properly. Starting with some of the notes that the Imam highlighted today. Number one, we should still observe the same etiquettes that we were taught by the Prophet ﷺ, by our principles, by our Islamic teachings. Number one is salutations, greetings. So our greeting always is as Muslim, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Should not forget that. Whether we speak over the phone or we write or send messages, we should consider that. This is the greeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us in this world, and it's the same greeting in Jannah. So that's number one. Salutations, greetings. And in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told us, when you enter a group or a meeting, you start with salam. And when you depart with salam. And the first is no more important than the last. You mean you enter with the salam is not more important than departing with the salam. That means you should be keen to make salam when you enter and when you leave. Not only when you enter the meeting, but when you enter your home. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِذَا دَخَلْتُمْ بُيُوتَكُمْ, even if you enter your own homes, فَسَلِّمُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ, even if you enter the house and there is no one, right? You still say, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi as-salihin. If there is someone, you say, Assalamu alaykum, peace be upon you, right? And if there is no one in any place, you enter, you just enter like that? No, Allah in the Quran says, فَسَلِّمُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ, and the Prophet ﷺ told us what it is. You say, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi as-salihin. Peace be upon us and the good servants of Allah. There may be angels around, of course. So you make salam to them. So in the social media, you do the same thing. On the mobile phone, you do the same thing. Right? And you respond with the salam. So that's number one. Secondly is, choose your wording. Choosing the wording when you speak. Because in communication, when you speak on the phone or without face-to-face communication, you need to be careful about your words because you don't have the face gestures. People don't see you, so you need to choose carefully your words and your tone as well, because that really gives the expressions. So you got to be careful when you speak. Choose the words and the tone. A third one is to call in appropriate times. People, when sometimes they would call once 10 times in 5 minutes. This is the same consideration when you try to visit somebody. The Prophet ﷺ said, when you visit someone, when you want to visit, choose the right times. Don't go at times when people are usually not ready to receive people. Don't call people when it's time for salah, or when it's time to take a nap, or when it's time they are involved in something and you know they are not willing to take the call. Also, some of the etiquettes is when you call and you didn't get an answer, you don't have to keep calling again and again and again. People may be excused. The Prophet ﷺ said, when you go and seek permission to enter, ask the permission 3 times. 3 times at the same moment. Knock 3 times, no answer, no one is willing to receive you. They are busy, they are not willing. So don't be too harsh and too pushy. So call later or send him a message. And now it's easy, you could do that. And you know what? If it's not really urgent call, you can send him a message and say, well, when can I call you? When can I visit you? Right? And choose the right times. Many times during the salah, many phones will ring. Well, I think people need to consider these times, right? Another consideration is when you are getting into salah, when you're getting into meetings, when you're getting at times when you are not willing to receive calls, put your phone in silent. Let it be in vibration or silent, so it's not inconveniencing others. And also you need to consider the traditions. People in certain countries or certain communities, they have certain traditions. They don't receive calls or visitors at certain times. They're not happy with that. So you've got to respect all of that. So when you come to any place, you've got to know what these people's traditions are. So you respect them. Don't inconvenience them. Now when it comes to social media is an open world. It's just like it's the reality of the world, but it's removing all the boundaries. Before, people who are with filthy ideas, they used to hide with these ideas. Now in the social media, it's open. There are no limits. So you got to be careful. When you're in the social media, when you are in the internet and so on, you are exposed to all sorts of germs and pollution. Plus, you are exposed to everything good as well. So you got to be careful. You got to have some sort of protection. Firewalls. Our own firewalls, our own filters, our own conscience. We got to be able to distinguish between the good meal and the bad meal, the good food and the junk food. In the social media, you are open to everything in the world, every filthy idea, every ill behavior, every corrupt person has an access to that place to spread their filth. At the same time, it's a tool to spread all the good things. So you will find this, you will find that. So be careful. Parents, children, everybody. Another thing, people unfortunately sometimes takes it as a replacement of gatherings and meetings. So even when they meet as friends or relatives, everyone is still busy with the phones. Everyone is still busy with their own friends in the social media, and they forget their real friends. They go into the other world. In fact, this is real repercussion that we need to think about. Parents, children, relatives, neighbors, face-to-face relationships should not be sacrificed while we are utilizing this new social media and so on. Another thing is whatever we receive and whatever we transmit, you got to be careful about that. We said, okay, you don't just be open to everything. Don't let your eyes and ears just receive everything, good and bad. Be careful. Put some filters. Watch who you are talking to, who you're receiving, what sort of messages are coming, and verify it. Don't just pass everything. Don't let things get into it. Just like you choose your meals, your food, choose the good ones. Not every food advertised is good for us. Not every fast food is good. Not even every cooked food is good. So the same thing. Not everything on the media, on the social media. Not everyone there who looks like, they look nice. Their status, their profile picture, right? Yeah, well, you can actually be anybody and you can have any status. You can put the status like you can put the best status. You can say, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ, and the person in the back is a devil. Right? You can put the best screensaver on the worst machine. Even a very old PC that no one is willing to use, you can put the best screensaver and people think this is really the latest. It's a screensaver, my friend. What's behind is rubbish, is junk, is useless. So don't let the status or the profile pictures deceive you. Just like this world. In fact, this world is full of screensavers. And many people come in the day of judgment and they will be surprised what's behind the screensavers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةُ بِالْمَكَارِهِ وَحُفَّتِ النَّارُ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ. Literally, in practice, it means hellfire is full of screensavers. Good, beautiful, appealing, attractive screensavers. He said, حُفَّتِ النَّارُ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ. That hellfire is surrounded with very nice profile pictures, very nice status, very nice screensavers. You got to be careful. You got to stop this screensaver and see behind it. And likewise, Jannah is surrounded by some difficulties. They look difficult, but in reality, it's a step for you for convenience, for comfort. So be careful. This is the real description of things. So don't let people deceive you with good profiles or statuses. Then the same token, you should choose your own good status and good profile picture, because this tells people who you are, right? So, because it's a message by itself. Your status, many people will only see your status. So if your status is really useless or meaningless, you wasted somebody's look, or yes, it's a chance to pass your message, who you are. So if your status is good and useful, most of the people will only read it or see it. Your profile picture is meaningful, most of the people will only see your profile picture. So be careful about that. You have a chance to pass your message through these. Very quick, very simple, without even people read what you write. Another thing is, what comes to you, you verify it and let all the bad things stop at your inbox. And only pass the good things. Only pass the things that will bring people together, that will spread the good traditions, things that will bring people to the right path, and so on. Be careful about that. Be careful, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask every one of us, and we will be answerable to it. Why you done that? Even the things that you think are good, be careful before you circulate it. Sometimes you receive something like a hadith. They will say this is hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, but you got to verify it. Is it really a hadith? Is it a true hadith? And it's easy to verify that. You can go to a sunnah site and you can verify it. Is it really true hadith before you pass it? And when you pass, please don't use the expressions, if you don't pass it, that means because you are weak. If you don't pass it, a'udhu billah. Don't do that. This is none of our business. You just pass the good things and let people enjoy it and do what they need. So don't use such expressions, because this is not Islamic, this is not ethical to do that. And sometimes you really are sharing part of the sin if this is wrong thing you are passing, and you are insisting people to share and be part of this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us these good tools, and we need to use it properly. We need to use the good part. We need to put some limits to it as well, so it does not contravene with our human relations, other relations. Either we use it to promote these human relations, or let it not be at all. Let's stop it completely if you cannot control it. It's just exactly like anything that's multifold. If you cannot have any proper control, stop it until you can. Put a stop on it until you can really control it. Don't let yourself to be the victim. In fact, we are the customers. We are the tools nowadays, if you think. So don't be naive and everything comes from outside, we adopt it. No, we should not be that. You are the most precious part. You and your mind and your activity and so on is not as cheap to be used by these social media companies. So be careful what you receive, and be careful of what you forward and circulate. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the straight path, to use these tools in the best way of benefiting us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all from the harmful stuff. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace to this land and all the lands around. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa barik ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.